It's Monday, January 14th, Tuesday, January 15th, if you're on the East Coast or across the pond. And this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North on top of the snowy mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you nightly on the SOR Radio Network, Deep Talk Radio, Rev Radio, and if you want to listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me a favor. Please hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot soon. Actually, right now, shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Nsuho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website, click on the Nsuho banner, and subscribe to the channel today. Sometimes it's amazing what a little bit of strangeness can do to change your path in life. Well, that seems to have happened with our guest tonight, Marie Nancarrow, who joins us all the way from New Zealand, where it is tomorrow, so we will ask her how tomorrow is looking in just a minute. But Marie became an ET contact a few years ago, and since then she's been trying to find her direction, which culminated with her book Quanta and her other book, Reincarnation. The task is human interpretation of Quanta, the language of dimensional beings. The purpose of the task is to interpret a message, and the message is grim and nigh. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, we have Olaf Phillips back from Paranoia Magazine for the SOR Newswire. Marie Nancarrow, how's tomorrow looking?
Well, it's great to be here, and tomorrow looks very sunny, and it's very nice and warm here in New Zealand.
See, we have listeners, a lot of listeners in New Zealand and mainly Australia, and we always ask how tomorrow is looking, because that's how we stay ahead of all those false prophet people who believe that the world is coming to an end on a certain date here in North America. Because
well,
it's going to start with you guys. So yeah, we're able to stay ahead of the curve here on the mighty SOR because of that. Let's learn a little bit about you before we get too heavy into these topics, Marie. Were you always an ET contactee, or was this something that kind of caught you off guard?
Well, no, it started a few years ago, and it was just started with dreams and being in strange and bizarre places with strange and bizarre creatures. And then from the dreams, I actually had a physical contact. So I had 5 what we call Archon aliens, which I find that is not the correct word for these creatures. And they came in and they removed something out of the back of my neck. And they took a lot of spinal fluid with them, and my neck cranked. And when it happened, I pinched myself to see if it was happening or not. And it was definitely happening. And I had a dog with me who hid under the bed and wasn't helpful at all. So we did have contact. And from that contact, I went through phases of being frightened. For a year, I slept in the lounge with the lights on. A year later, I managed to move back to my room, still with the light on. But over the time, I went through phases of dealing with what had happened. And about 2 years in, 3 years in, I started getting very angry that they had come into my room in my most vulnerable position and frightened me so severely. So I started looking for them because I needed answers, and I found them. I found them all. I found every asset there is in the universe. So I wrote the Quanta Disclosure, the first book, which is a nice book. It's heartwarming, and it shows you some of the images that I've found through my eyes. And I also found something quite intriguing, which I've called Quanta. And the Quanta is a interaction between yourself and a metaphysical state and the imagery that you're looking at. And Quanta is their energy. It's the energy of the universe. And it's the closest I can describe it is like a spark looking for a ground. You're the ground. So if you interact with Quanta, there are dangers, of course, because you're dealing with things that we don't fully understand yet. But there are measures to protect yourself from these dangers as well. So this is the beginning of the Quanta Disclosure guidebook. And originally there were 3 books, but we've had something happened recently in the firmament, so I've had to adjust the books for that. We had an addition into the firmament, and that will be coming out as a supplemental book.
Right.
For those who are interested. So there is a message. It is quite grim, but there's hope in it too. The alien Quanta, the beings, after the beings came to my home about a year later or so, 2 years later, I had someone approach me, and I was with others as well, and it was a humanoid snake person, and they gave me a bus ticket here in New Zealand, in my town anyway. You can reuse bus tickets for up to an hour after their purchase. So he just got off, he came up to me at the bus stop and gave me a ticket. So I took the ticket, but I knew I shouldn't have taken it. I just knew he was a snake man. I sensed it. I had already been quantified. I knew he was, but I took it anyway. The moment I touched that ticket, a dark energy entered through my fingers, through the skin, and I could feel it moving through my body. And I tried to get it out using my own chi energy and things like this. I actually had to ring people, some psychic, a friend of mine, Carol. Hopefully we all get to meet her later on, another stage. But and she said, "Don't worry, it's for your protection." So we let it ride, we let it go, and it was indeed. It took, I think, all up 7 alien beings to get me to the stage where I could see the Quanta and deliver it to you without losing my mind, and being, remaining sane,
Right.
and describing the universe to the person in a palatable way, because it is so vast and bizarre. So that's where we are.
At any time, did you question your own merit, your own sanity, your own feelings towards this? Because I'm a fellow experiencer. I know what I went through, and it's a lot to process. It's a lot to try and take in order to feel like this is the right area to go down. I mean, it's scary. It's confusing. Did you go through all of that wicket of emotions?
Yes, I did. Over the first 3 years of the physical contact, the metaphysical contact with the dreams and going into the dimensions and getting on spacecrafts with other creatures, that they weren't as real to me as being physically. There's nowhere to run when you're in your bed and your jammies and these creatures are standing at your doorway, and they're coming in. I did go through a lot of that. But what happened was I wasn't alone. The people who came, the snake man and this other snake lady, because I had actually using my chi energy kicked in straight away when I touched that bus ticket. Let me put it to you like that. It immediately just kicked in. And I immediately started trying to channel the energy through the palm of my hand into my other hand where I'd touched the ticket. And I had disabled this device in some way. So I had another alien come down and fix it in such a way. And all those aliens, I don't believe they are alive today. I think they sacrificed their lives to get me to this position. I've also had a second visitation that not from an alien as such, but from a very important person on the planet who's brought I don't know how to explain it, but it's a 3-tier aeroplane, 2.5 times the size of a Hercules. I don't know if you know what that is. It's an army plane. 2.5 times the size of an Hercules sitting over the park, and I don't know how they knew I was there. And it hovered. It did not move forward. It sat still in the sky with its lights off, and I knew immediately who it was. I had 2 witnesses with me. We sat there and watched this plane watching us. And then it flicked its lights on and carried on. But it sat in the sky for at least 30 seconds, eyeballing us. So we've had visitation from some very important people here on Earth as well, which indicates to me this serious stuff. I'm trying to keep an open mind, skeptical as possible, but I am a metaphysician, so I do have that awareness, but I'm trying very hard to keep it nice and straight, because there is a message in it, and if I deviate to the left or the right, I could hurt myself. So I am trying very hard to deliver this to the people as much as I can without getting myself killed. I'm so sorry. That's not funny.
Getting yourself killed? What do you mean by that? That's a powerful way to end a paragraph.
Well, it is. But I'm dealing with things that are beyond our current paradigm. I've got help, and I've seen them form in front of my house and battle in the skies, because there are beings that they're in a lot of trouble, and they've broken a few rules that govern this place. So there's a bit of a skirmish going on, but they've broken the rules, and what has happened is they've lost their anonymity. So previous to the rule being broken, they were entitled to govern this place in such a way without us knowing it. Unfortunately, they have broken a rule, and it's quite a serious rule, and thus the disclosure is imminent. So there are 6 books now, 2 supplementals, the 3 books, and then 1 supplemental for each book, purely because an incident occurred just in December, and we have to account for that so that the people who are on this planet that have no idea that who they're working for can see what happens when you break the rules. So it's very interesting, very interesting.
How has this affected your daily life, your daily goings on, the people around you?
Well, my daughter gets scared. She lives with me. She's a grown woman, but she still gets scared of the the contact still continues. It's very small. It's intermittent. We've put up protective measures and stuff. They're trying to get my attention. I don't have the mind space for it. I am extraordinarily busy trying to deliver this message. It's very unusual situation, but they do whistle. They whistle a lot. It's it sounds like a bird almost. Try and get the attention. You go outside, and they're actually physically outside and things like this. So, it's different, but I mean, I'm a pretty, I'd like to think I was a down-to-earth sort of person with, a keen sense of reality. So it is strange and it is bizarre, but, we cannot disregard science in any measure. And also there are anomalies that indicate we're not really looking at what we think we're looking at. So there's certain parts of the universe that are virtual reality. There are certain parts that are artificially intelligent. There are parts that are spiritual and metaphysical. And there are parts that are, they're dark energy. You can't go there. Well, we can't. I've been there, but you can. People can't go there. If you go there, you have to travel there in a bubble. You have to go there in a bubble, some sort of a bubble.
Interesting. Interesting. Let me ask you this in regards to your own life. How have you changed? What is your perception of living on a daily basis if you're seeing these entities or creatures on a frequent basis?
Well, it makes me a fighter, really, a warrior as such. And I suspect it would make others warriors when they find too. What's really going on? I mean, the creatures that we're seeing popping up on YouTube and other social media sharing sites, these beings, we have to learn how to defend against them. In the book, the Quanta Disclosure Guidebook, with the first book, we go into that sort of stuff about how to defend. But it's the firmament that's failing us, and it's our activity that's creating the firmament failure. So we're going to get a lot of strange creatures. The closer the creature is to the human body, the sooner they come through the weakening firmament. So, we're going to get a lot of creatures that are humanoid first, but they're hybrids, and they'll come through first because they're the closest to our physical, our body, because they're hybrids. Then as the firmament fails more, we're going to get more dark electrical energy beings. And we've fought this fight before. This fight we fought before the flood, and we know this to be true because it comes through in the Quanta. And I haven't released the books yet, but it's got the ancients in it, the ancient Egyptians, the Indians, the Chinese, you name it, they're all in there. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. At first I thought I'm not too sure what to make of that because they're still fighting today. I've got images of Shiva, the Indian god, the snake wrapped around his neck. He's in his Vimana. He's looking through a line of sight. He's about to fire this massive weapon on his enemies. They're still fighting. The demigods that we once knew a long time ago, the Moai and the, all of these demigods that we hear about, Thor and things like this, they were real beings. They weren't fake beings as such. And they fought in a great war together. A lot of people may tell you lots of stories, archaeologists and all sorts of things, but I can tell you now, and I'll show you the images in the next coming books, that there are indeed these ancient creatures, beings that belong to this planet. They are our brethren as such. They are still fighting, and It's really bizarre. So I'm going to show you all the way home. I'm going to show you everything in my books. So you have, the human brain, it can't take it all in. So I've had to cut it up into these small, 20-minute reads or whatever it is, because, we need to take it in smaller doses. So the Disclosure Guidebook, the first book, is, well, it's not really for those who are ready for more. It's for those who are interested in the introduction to fringe realism, which is what we're discussing. Everything that I'm talking about is fringe realism. It's a theory that our reality is actually quite fringe. It's far, far, far fringe from what we've been taught in the mainstream. Our science is still good. We still have good, most, some of it. Hydrogen and oxygen still make water. So we still have good science in that sort of respect. But when we look at what we're seeing, we can see all of these creatures and beings that we see on the canyon walls and, in the Navajo lands and all of these ancient cave arts. We see these creatures in the space environment. There are rules in the space environment. There are civilizations. Somebody tried to launch a rocket, got shot down by a little orb thing, because that was in trajectory with a firmament city. They had no choice, and they've actually issued these road code sort of stuff, and I've written it down, and that's going to be coming out in the next few days. So it's going to be of great interest to read these books through to the end, because you'll get to see everything. I've found there's nothing I haven't found. Oh, there's couple of things I haven't found, but
well, you know what? Just hold on to that thought, because we're going to go to a break here at the bottom of the hour, and I got a lot of questions for you in regards to a lot of information that you kind of teased on there in the first half hour. Teasing with that Kiwi accent that you got going on, and all the Canadian guys here are like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool," and the Americans are like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool," and the Brits are like, "Oh, sounds like us." But nonetheless, Marie Nancarrow is our guest tonight. Fringe Reality. We're going to get into Quanta coming on up here in the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. You stick around after the break.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother Is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. Talking with author Marie Nancarrow tonight all the way down in New Zealand. We're talking about the Quanta. We're going to get into it pretty heavily tonight. Marie, welcome back. I called you Renee there because one of my listeners, Renee, who's listening in right now, she's from New Zealand. So you have to forgive me for that. So she's sitting at home in the sunshine with her husband. What's the frequency, Kenneth? And they're hanging out listening to us right now. So we say hello to them. We'll give them a shout out there. But Marie, right before the break, you had mentioned fringe realism, and you questioned that we all have to think about, how does this determine what our reality is? Could you break that down for me, please?
Well, that's a good question. As it currently stands, for many of us, reality is the sun rising and setting during the day, moon rising night. We don't get anything in our reality other than maybe ghosts and Sasquatches and the little greys and things like those. But what's going to happen is we're going to start seeing a lot more activity with these beings that are going to come down. We have seen them before. We've dealt with them before, and they've been written with on cave art walls and canyon walls and things like this. They're petroglyphs now. And our ancient ancestors drew these creatures on these walls as a warning to us. And they drew other things that are on there too, such as spirals and things like this. These creatures are going to be the creatures that are going to come down more frequently as the firmament fails more and more and more. This is going to, give us a very, put us on the back foot, really, when it comes to our own sense of realism, because as far as we know, those things don't exist. The universe is a vast expanse ready for us to explore and mine and exploit. But it's not that way at all. It's quite compact. There's many factions of alien, and they are all marked. They all have symbolism. They have their own weaponry. Some of them cannot interact with others because the light frequency of the dimension is too far apart, so they don't even see each other, such as ourselves and say, ghosts, for example. Only if they come into our reality do we see them. It's going to be very similar to that, but the difference is that they have a unique constitution about them, and that they are half physical and half energy beings. So we have to deal with these creatures as they arrive. We have to deal with these creatures in such a way where what we do affects them, because there are creatures out there that, you can shoot a bullet at it and it'll go straight through it. It won't affect the creature at all. However, if you show it a spiral pattern, it will repel it like a vampire to a cross, because their eyes because they're from a different dimension, they're from a darker dimension, and when we go into that in a little bit later on, but the darker dimension is quite straight-lined and angled. It's very sharp and sheer. There's not much curvature to it, and when they are created, or I wouldn't say born, because they're not born as such, they're hatched, really. When they're created, their irises are created in such a way where they see the straight line. You know, it's just, if they'll see a square in the footpath and they'll, you know, step over it, that's what they see. When they come to our reality, we are a world of waves and light, so that they have to adjust a little bit. But when we show them a concentric circle pattern or a spiraling pattern, it makes them dizzy. They don't like it, and it repels them. They don't like it. It's like us looking into a bright light, you know, or something like this. We have to sort of shut our eyes and turn away. It's a similar effect, but, you know, on a cosmic scale, more foreign scale, an alien to us. You know, it's alienism.
Did you ever wonder why it was you having to learn all this? Why you were, you know, the proverbial chosen one for this message?
Well, I've come to realize a couple of things, but I don't think it's appropriate to discuss that now. I'm actually going to put that in the final end of the book because, you know, I mean, the other information is far more important. You know,
well, tease us a little bit. Tease us.
Well,
you can do it. I got faith.
Well, the thing is, you see, is when I was given this thing with the bus ticket, it was a dark energy device of some nature. It was part biological in some way as well. It was a little bit of both, but it gave me a sort of like they couldn't see me as such. They couldn't see my consciousness. They couldn't see my brightness or anything like this. But in another way, it gave me a taint to my soul, and I'll never get rid of it. It's never going to go. It was a sacrifice that I made to bring this material to you, because I had to go to a dark place, and you cannot go there when you are pure light. You can't. You'd be destroyed. You must have this sort of taint, this dark taint to your energy, and that allowed me to go into the dark place. I went there. I was there. I was conscious, or, you know, awake, and I was in a bubble. And you know, I met the dark ones. You know, the dark dimensional beings that surround our light. It's very fringe.
Was it a spiritual movement for you that you saw this? Was it something that kind of confirmed whether or not there was a heaven or a hell, or a god or a devil?
Oh yeah, I've found all those things. No, there's quite a few hell constructs. There's very many heaven constructs. There's only one true heaven, and this is where I'm trying to show in Reincarnation Book 2. I know I was trying to put in there all the clues that they tried to give us, which are all Masonic. You know, we've found them in Masonry and, you know, secret societies and things like this. All these little clues, but the thing is that it's not correct. And that's the thing, you see. It's I wouldn't say it was an illusion, because it's not an illusion. It's a deceit as such. And what it is as we pass through the firmament, you know, we have to go through a firmament triangle. There's no other way through it. There's no other way through the firmament, and you have to go through the triangle. That's the only entry and exit point, other than a breach in the upper celestial sphere, and once you pass through the life, you'll go through. I take you through the firmament, how you're going to make it through the firmament, what clues are there, and things like this. But yes, no, you have to go through the firmament. I've forgotten the question. Sorry.
Well, well, you know what? I think you answered it pretty good. Let's move on here to another question. Just in regards to the way you are saying things, it almost feels you're taking extraterrestrial or any type of ET contact in a very negative light.
Well, I don't think what we're seeing is our friends. Okay, we do have friends. They are to help us. We have the Syrians have some security discs that cover our perimeter, sort of thing. That's on the outer edge of our space. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, it's very hard to, because space is not what we think it is. It's delved up into like sections of so first you've got the light and dark universes, between the two light beings and dark beings, and then you've got all the different construct within these universes. We deal with a lot with the light universe. It's very rare to get much out of the dark universe, although we have a little bit. So you get all these constructs, and within these constructs they have their own deceitful means of luring you as a traveller after death into their construct. And there are rules in space. It's not what we think it is. There are rules. There are cities and civilizations, and there are judges and courts and police and everything. There's rules. There's road rules. There's road signs. There's all sorts of stuff going on up there. But when we pass through, because we don't know any of this, when we pass through as spiritual beings, we get it's like a I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a roundup or where they're trying to like sheep you into a pen and such.
It's not painting a very pretty picture.
Well, no, because you're going through the firmament and you have to make it to a particular location, and you're like a lamb, going through. Trying to find your way through it, and it's very difficult. And this is where we're getting a lot of trouble. We have to make it to the Masonry City, which is above in the firmament cities. That's where we're going. There are marks and symbols for us to follow. Right. Things like this. So, but on the way there, you're going to get. We are so valuable. The human race, the human being, the soul. There's a creature inside us. We carry it with us. We call it a soul or what have you. But actually, it's not a soul. It's a little speck sphere. The speck creature's got a dark covering of the eyes, and instead of a belly button, it has a sphere. Well, that's part of you, and you grow it when you come to this place, and when you leave this place. They try to harvest it from you, because it's the sphere that they want. The sphere, these strange creatures, specks, which I wrote about in book 1, are very bizarre. They're everywhere. We see them in Reincarnation being extracted from the human behind the left rib. We know they exist. And it's the belly button. It's like a crystalline sphere that grows out of these beings' belly button, and the soul hunter harvests that using his teeth. He actually uses his teeth to pull that sphere out. The speck itself, the being itself, is then used as like a mulch or a growth. Speck matter growth, and it's artificially intelligent. They give it an intelligence, and that makes up the matrix, what we know as the matrix. And this is this is, I mean, this goes how deep it goes, but that also is in book 1 as well. So it's very interesting. The sphere itself is what we need to harness while we're here on the earth. We need to fill our chi dantian up with good, positive earth energy, and we need to learn how to use the sphere. And we will be using it in the next life in our spiritual form through the palm of the hand. It will come out through the palm of the hand like a firing of light. I've seen it myself. I've seen skirmish. I've seen someone fire out through the palm of their hand as they're running along a bridge to make it to a door. That was all in Quanta. You know,
is that dimensional too?
Yeah, it's dimensional, and it's beyond bizarre. So what I've done is I've written these books, and I've put them into an order that you know people can read and understand and look at the imagery and not be frightened. I don't want anyone to be frightened, and come to a new realization that actually, you know, we're living in a fringe reality. We're not living in that old reality we once knew, because our firmament is failing us. So, yeah, we've desalinated the water.
What do you mean by fringe reality, though? Because that could be a very broad statement.
Well, it could be, but how fringe do you need it to go when you're dealing with alienism? All alienism is fringe, all of it, every single bit of it. So there's no other way to describe it, unless you might have a better way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, the reason why I ask is because there are a lot of different ways this entire fringe field can go. I mean, some people see ghosts, some people talk to the dead, some people are, using their consciousness to create some sort of contact with ETs. Other people are seeing cryptid creatures and things that shouldn't exist. So when it comes to fringe reality, I mean, whose reality are we talking? Are we talking that there are numerous realities and we all live in our own reality in a multidimensional consciousness?
Perhaps. We haven't yet considered the last image of the first book, which I'm going to put in all the books, and that is the broken pixel. There's a big square, it's a rectangle actually, black rectangle in the universe. It's just up there in the sky in the dark rift, and nobody knows what it is. Nobody, and it's a broken pixel. It's a broken pixel. So it could be a fringe. Not a fringe reality. It could be a virtual reality. What we're looking at. The problem I have with that idea is there's a couple of small things that have come up, and this is for academics everywhere, I guess, of this topic. But I've found a couple of videos on YouTube that I thought was of great interest. So I've made a couple of little videos that I've put out on YouTube about these videos, and it's describing exactly what we talked about earlier, which is the creatures that are coming through the firmament are getting filmed and put up on social media. And one of these creatures is what I call a fingerling, and it's a creature that's made of hands. It's actually made of hands, and you wouldn't believe it, but I've seen it myself, and I've put the video up as well. I actually wrote about those creatures before that video was found, put up onto the internet. So I do have some reservation about the universe being a complete, or what have you, virtual reality, because some of these creatures that I've seen in the space environment have appeared now on the Earth and been filmed by others. And they're quite bizarre, and we've seen them before in ancient cave art. We see many pictures of these misty handprints over the cave walls. Well, these are the fingerlings that I'm talking about, and they are they come from the insectolin hybrid side of the species, So, which I've shown in book 1. When you see the grippy, and the grippy is very important in such a way. The grippy is a creature. It is a fingerling creature. But the grippy, what's interesting about the grippy is the grippy sits at the head of the insectolin queen. Her name is Ashera, and she is the goddess of the Sumerian. But when you get up to the grippy, you get to the very headpiece of, you go beyond Ashura's boat. Ashura's boat is in the image, and you find the grippy, and it's a fingerling. And you think, you think about the Sumerian steels in ancient art, and you think, all the direction is pushing humanity to follow the Sumerian imagery, which is like you get Ashura's boat, and you get all these different historical clues, but then you see that it's not what we think it is. It's
right.
It's not what we think it is at all. So there is some strangeness, but this is what I was saying before about the constructs they're mimicking the real heaven as such. They're trying to confuse us. Yes.
Marie, I'm going to cut you off right there because we are going to step out for our break at the top of the hour. The fringe reality, fringe realism. We're going to get into it more and your questions because I know they're piling up. I got you, Carl. I got your question ready. Stay tuned, everybody. We got hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio with our guest tonight, Marie Nancarrow. Coming up right after this break. Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
It's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Story Box. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot THAL. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow night on the show, Danny Silva comes in to talk about the mysterious Bob Bigelow and UFOs. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network, Deep Talk Radio, Revolution Radio, and don't forget, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Iraqi butyrophobia. Oh, I said that wrong. Iraqi butyrophobia is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot. Soon, shop at our brand new store. Actually, that's running now. I got to stop saying soon. I'm just used to saying that. You can go shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store now. It's really cool. We got great swag there. Go check it out. And, of course, you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. Tonight, we are talking with author Marie Nancarrow. She's out of New Zealand, and she has a couple of books out, The Quanta and Reincarnation. Highly suggest you check them on out. Reincarnation is on Amazon. You can check that on out. Go for it. Why not? It's worth your time. Marie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I want to get to some audience questions here, because we always like to include the audience here in the questions. And we're going to get to what Carl has to ask right off the bat. And he is asking, can you please define, Marie, what you mean by firmament?
Yeah, I can actually. Firmament is a construct that sits within the dark rift, and it sits just above our dimensional line, which is it's just above the celestial sphere. Within the construct of the firmament, it has a very unusual terrain. So it's not like what we think it is here on Earth, where we've got solid terra firma. In the firmament, you have a firma, but it's a celestia firma. And you also have twists and turns and caverns and things like this. You must be able to understand what a door is in space. All doors are either circles or triangles. All doors are either circles or triangles. So when you go through the firmament, you will see massive triangles, massive in size. When you first arrive there, we don't know if you're going to arrive near or close to, but you may arrive somewhere else within the firmament. But there's a giant black nebula cross where you arrive, and then there's a three-tiered zigzag pathway into and up into the triangle. Along the way are, of course, alien entities pointing you in the right direction, so you go to that triangle and things like this. There's the firmament is quite bizarre in that every soul that has ever lived on the planet, human soul goes through that firmament. And what happens is that, like, little notes or little energies of things that you once knew in your life, or somebody knew in their life, they are attracted to parts of the firmament as you're going through towards the triangle. So you get a lot of strange and bizarre Quanta. You get things like animated bogglehead dogs and giant sarcophaguses and cowboys that are 20 feet tall. You get all these strange and bizarre things and it's coming from every person that has ever walked through there to get to the other side of that triangle. It's a dimensional triangle, as mentioned earlier. So it is kind of hard to describe the firmament in such a way where it's we don't have some language we just don't have to describe, but it's like it's halfway between physical and metaphysical. So you get a lot of strange and bizarreness between those two dynamic dimensions, and that's what the triangle is designed for. It's designed as a bridge almost between the two dimensions. I don't know if that answers the question.
Sure. Let's move on here. Catherine is asking, are multidimensional beings born in between space then, or are they natural born in this universe?
Okay, so there's two universes that are of great importance, and the first universe is our universe. It's the light wave universe. The second universe is the outer edge of the light wave universe, and that's the dark universe of straight line and angle. So in our light universe, we are born, and in the space environment, if they're humanoid hybrid, they may have a birth or born a baby. But if they're hybridized, they actually may lay eggs or things like this and be hatched rather than born. So it really depends on the hybrid. It depends on many things. But basically the DNA of the hybrid, whether or not they're going to have a batch of eggs or one child or one baby or offspring or whatever. Does that help?
Oh, sure. BTO, who has a high-quality beard in our audience, and we always like to point out a good beard in our audience, he is asking in regards to you calling some of the extraterrestrials creatures. He goes, what creatures are you referring to? Can you describe them and where they come from?
Yes, I can describe them and where they come from. I can show their constructs. The creatures I'm talking to I call cluster men because they do cluster. They're a Sashman as well, which we often can confuse for a Sasquatch. So when we talk about creatures, what I'd like to say, there are 13 patriarchal species in the universe. 13. There are insects and spiders and humans, and the patriarch. Then you get the hybridized beings coming from that patriarch. So we can now identify these beings and give them names because we didn't know who they were or where they were from or what they were or anything. But now we've come to the realization that there are actually 13 species within the light environment that we know of. There are other species in the dark environment, which we have seen in the firmament, thanks to the properties of the firmament being half metaphysical. We can actually see the dark beings, but only in that particular place. But the creatures are hybridized. So as we go through, we have to go through using the traits or their characteristics as to whether or not which hybrid they are, which patriarchal lineage are they from. There are some creatures that are known by the Navajo called thomps. It was a nickname they gave a petroglyph of a dark creature with 3 prongs coming from the top of its head and 2 giant feet, size 20 or something, giant feet. these are dark energy beings. We've found their construct and we've found their neighbours. We call the penny clown, or I call the penny clowns, because they're clowns. They are human hybrid creatures. I'm suspicious that they are a spiderling hybrid, but I haven't come very close to them to identify the correct traits to confirm that. But we've found their constructs. We know where they're from. These particular ones that I'm talking about, the thomps and the dark light creatures and the penny clowns, are hunters of human. So they do actually hunt human. They come down here. They come through the triangular, if they can. Sometimes they come through some of the portals that are open if you use those little rock things. I forget what they call it off the top of my head, but they help find the trajectory for the correct portals from Earth out through little pockets within the firmament. But, they come through and they hunt. So we have discovered them, and there's a particular creature, actually, I've got it in book 3, which as I mentioned earlier, I'm releasing shortly, of a petroglyph creature. We've found it. It's quite bizarre, and it just confirms the theory that these creatures are, in fact, have been here before. They are in our space environment, or just outside of our space environment, within our light universe, and they are they're all different in such a way, these creatures. Some, we've seen some videos, I can spot them straight away, but you must go back to the petroglyphs to help you identify the creatures in the space environment. Once you identify those creatures in the space environment, then you must correlate those with other constructs to see if they are shared or if they are independent to that construct and stuff like this. So, we have found them, and we do know what constructs they're from. They have been here before. We have a history. We know who they are. It's just a matter of remembering or learning again how to defend yourself against these dark energy creatures, because they have dark energy devices. They're dark energy themselves, partially. We need to remember how to defend our homes and our children and ourselves with the defence mechanisms we have here and the tools we have here, which we do. We do have them. We've used them before. I've talked about it before in the books, and I'll repeat it again, and I'll repeat it again. Lead and copper will help you. Lead and copper will help you with the dark energy beings and the negative energy beings, and there is a difference between the two. We look back at our own history on Earth, and we can see in India they've got the Ashoka pillar, which is pure lead, and it's scarified lead. It has been scarred so much by energy it doesn't rust. And I would go to suggest that there were other pillars of lead surrounding that temple in India a long time ago, and these creatures of dark and negative energy came through and could not get through that. I doubt if they would have got through that pillar, past those pillars. Yeah.
When you talk about that these have already been discovered, who discovered them? Because this would be news to me.
No, the cave people. They drew it on the wall. Okay. Those sorts of people from prehistoric and cave people. They drew all the pictures on the wall for us, because there's no real way. Once you see the creatures themselves and you see what I'm talking about, you'll understand there's no real way to draw that. They did a really great job for what it is. When you see the creature has got the strange spiky thing on its back and, holding the strange weapon, and you see it on the cave art wall and you think, gosh, what are these guys smoking? And then you see it in the space environment and you realise, my God, these guys are accurate. accurate. So when you look at the petroglyph, you're looking at a very accurate picture. Whoever drew it to its finest detail, and actually, thankfully, they did that because I found other items of interest, petroglyph interest, in the space environment, and one of these is a pest or a threat. I call it a black morgue flower because I don't know what else to call it. It's black. It's on the petroglyph walls. I've put it in book 3. But what the beauty about the petroglyph and this black morgue flower is whoever drew that 10,000 years ago or whatever it was, drew it precisely. And luckily they did, because when I found the construct, it was in absolute black darkness. And I knew that I had seen that image before. And instead of looking at this mass problem, we can now look at it with a little bit more focus. I do believe the scientists of today calling it the shrinking universe. Well, in my understanding of the universe, which is fringe realism, that would be the black morgue overgrowth that is growing. It's like a weed, and it grows. And it's a device of the Dark Brothers who are trying to block out our light. So it's a bit of an antagonist. The Dark Brothers are the beings that come from the dark dimension, and they don't like us much. We are too bright for them, and it is in their cultural system to destroy us. And so this is where we get our animosity in the universe. We get it from these guys, and there is a few different types of them. They're not all the same. There are factions of men in black or dark brothers or whatever you call it. There are a few of them. There's not just one type. So, but the Dark Brothers are the ones from the dark dimension of straight line and angle, and they don't appreciate our light. It's too bright for them. Our universe is too bright for them. So they want to destroy the light and have darkness everywhere, because it's their
a lot of people would call them demons.
No, we found those too. They're not demons. They're just Dark Brothers. They just have an agenda to get rid of the light and rule the entire universe as a whole. The demons that you speak of, are they the devil, Satan demons, or some other demons?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, we found those guys, and, they are a different breed. They're a different breed altogether. They have a different agenda as well. Their agenda is a little bit more personal for them. We know who they are, and when I say we, I mean very important people here on Earth. They know exactly where they are. Things like that. So,
how come you know where they are and other people don't, like regular everyday people such as us?
Because I went to that dark place in the bubble. I went there in the bubble, and then when I went there, I could see them. I can see them now. Not now. I mean, I could see them after I went to the dark place. So it was part of it's all part of the disclosure, because of the rule being broken, and it had to be done, because I couldn't provide the disclosure without including the dark part of the universe, because it's quite important, and it's always overlooked.
Well, you can see why.
Yeah.
You can totally see why. Let's move on to another question here. This one comes from Bushi in the chat room, who is asking, who then are shadow people?
Shadow people are people who live on this planet. They live with us. Okay, and they live with you. They are your neighbours, and please don't be mean to them, because they're actually just trying to get through life as well. They also have a reincarnation construct specifically for them, because they are a different light frequency to us. In the firmament, we found them, and they actually have a name. They're called Z, not the spelling Z-E-D, but just the shape Z. And it's pronounced Z. I know a lot of guys say Z. It's actually pronounced Z, and that's their name. And the Z people, the shadow people, actually came they came out of their dimensional space and made contact with the American Indian. The American Indians will know them. Their headdress and their mohawk and other traits of the American Indian come from Z. So Z is in the third book as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. When it comes to extraterrestrials, there is always a big debate, Marie, about the idea good versus bad. There's a huge difference between contact and abduction. Many people cannot, separate the two, shall we say. What is your definition of ET contact then versus ET abduction?
Well, contact is where, they come and go, I suppose. And the abduction is when they come and you go, I guess. No, I have not been abducted. I have been invited out with the cat people. I don't know if you've ever heard of these.
I have
these cat people.
Cat people. We're weirdos around here, Marie. We're weirdos around here. If there's an alien species we haven't heard of, then we get in trouble here.
There are a few, but when I first started this journey, I went on a little ride with the cat people. But before that, it was highly embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. So I'm walking along in a fifth dimension. I'm looking at you ever see the sparkle on the water? The sparkles. Well, they have that, the fifth dimension, but it just floats in the air like a breeze left it behind, or it just gets kicked off a flower and just floats, up. It's like little sparkles off the ocean. Well, so I'm walking along. I'm in a full conversation. I've come into awareness. I'm looking at this giant spacecraft with these tall beings and these, little people and stuff. And I'm walking along and I'm in conversation. And I'm looking at this craft and I'm thinking, because it looked like the Noah's Ark, the big.
Right there, Marie. We're going to continue that story right after the break here. You're listening to Spaced Out.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
We are past the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We're talking with Marie Nancarrow from New Zealand, talking about the Quanta, reincarnation, and so much more. Marie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
While we're waiting here, why don't you tell everybody where they can find your books to check them on out?
Right. Well, if you want to start at the beginning, you want to go to smashwords.com and keyword search Quanta Disclosure Guidebook, and you can buy the first book there. And that's a good intro book to Fringe Reality. And it's got a few amazing pictures in it. If you want to see the Ark of the Covenant, you want to see that. If you want to see the Lost Aztecs, you want to go buy that book. And then the second book is through Amazon. And in the second book, we have some more amazing pictures. We show the way through the reincarnation construct. And also we show you a Mason man and a Sphinx that we found in the firmament. And we show you the way to get into that city. There's a city there that the Sphinx guards, and you're going to want to see that. So if you want to go buy the books, that's fine. Start with the first book, so you get your teeth into the Fringe Reality. And once you get a hang of the Fringe Reality, then you can step forward into the reincarnation construct and have a look at that and see the deception that they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes there. And then, of course, the third book is coming out in the next couple of days. And in this third book, we're going to show you some of the dangers in space. We're going to show you some of the commonly known things that we don't even know about, that you need to know about as you go through the space environment. And then we move forward into the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth books, where we take you all the way home. We take you right back home. So we'll show you everything.
Very
we also found God in the second book. So if you want to go and check that out, that's of great interest. And the Satan and the darker ones, we're putting in the books following. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I can see that. Let's get back to questions in regards to our audience, because we always like to keep them involved. Ron is our fellow Canadian flat earther, so he is asking, on the quantum or under the firmament, have you seen whether or not Earth is round or flat?
Yes, I have, and it's both. I know everybody's going to say, how can it be both? But it is. And I can tell you, and I can show you, I actually show you the Earth in book 2. You actually get to see it in book 2 and book 5. So the Earth is both round and flat. And the reason for that is because we're trapped inside a crystalline shard. So we have both. When we get to a certain part of the atmosphere, you're going to see it's going to go flat, and it's going to, in a certain part, it's going to be round. And it's because we're trapped inside a shield of some sort. So it's a maybe crystalline shield or something like this. And it skews our view. We're all trapped in it, all of us. And the universe is on the other side of that. So I don't know if that helps, but the images that you're going to want to see is in Book 2, and you'll also see the celestial sphere, which is over the Earth, and that's guarded by a nana, the Black Sphinx, and she guards the Earth there. She watches over it. So it's definitely both.
I would have never expected that answer. You realize you just caused me a whole world of hurt with this guy. World of hurt.
The image, just point him to the image, okay? He can make his own mind up. But what I'm saying is the image is real. The image is there. If you want to look and you want to see for yourself, you'll see the sphere, celestial sphere, and you'll see exactly how big that sphere is over the Earth. You'll see the Earth, and you'll see the correct shape of the Earth as well. So it is very interesting. We also get another glimpse at the Earth more properly in Book 5. Book 5, we take another look and we see it. It's very interesting.
Let's continue on with the questions here. Trip is asking, did you visit the caves, or are you going off of pictures? Their paintings are meant to be seen by fire. Fire sways and moves cave surface paintings and can move due to texture of the caves and movement of the flames.
No, I have not seen them in my physical. I've only seen them imagery on the books and the internet and things. But what I'd like to say to that question is, in regard to the petroglyphs, the amazing part about that is the corresponding creatures found. They do match the petroglyph. So whether there's fire there, I'm not sure, but what happens, because that would probably be somewhat correct in such a way, because I don't believe that the petroglyphs, the way they are complete. I mean, I know time has passed and then walls get weathered and things like this, but when you see the creatures that do correspond to the petroglyphs, you see other parts of the correct parts of the creature are missing on the petroglyph, or it's worn down and things like this. So that may be somewhat true, but yeah, it's the important part of that question is that the creatures are matching the imagery in the cave walls, and that's the important part. So he's probably right with the difference of lighting, because there will be ochre and ink and things like that have faded down that may come out with different lighting. But yeah.
All right, let's get to Michael's question. He is asking, does anyone else see these things? Is anyone else tuned into them that you know?
Yes. No. Yes and no. Yes. I don't know anybody that has done it other than myself, but I had a friend of mine, Cleopatra, who has brought the book and read the book, has also experienced Quanta from the still imagery. So I got a message back from Cleopatra who said that they saw, a twinkle, something move in the picture, and it's, and was quite shocked. And came back to me and said, I'm quite shocked. I saw it, and things like this. And, that's what to expect with Quanta. And that's why Quanta is a little bit different to what other people are saying about that alienism, is that the quanta is actually moving from a still image, and it shouldn't be, because when the image was taken, it took a part of the quanta energy with it. And so when we're looking at it, we're looking at a still image, and then suddenly you get this this twinkle from a star, within the image, and you're like, did I just see that? Well, yes, you did, because that's part of the fourth dimensional energy that got caught with the imagery. So and it's very hard because from a still image, it's hard to explain that from a still image, that, if you were to look up and see it with your own eyes, this would occur, this sort of interaction would occur. And with a still image, it's very hard because, it's not physical, it's not direct. You're looking at an indirect image. From me, I took that image because that's what my eyes see. When I look at the universe, I see the images that you see in the book. So it's difficult to explain, but it's definitely real. It's definitely bizarre and real. Surreal.
Follow-up question from Michael. How did you learn all of these different things? What level are you on? Like, has this been a shock to you, to your own system? How are you doing with it?
I am coming to terms with the fact I remember who I am. I'm coming to terms with that. I remember who I am before I was here because of the quanta interaction. It raises your ascension process. Right. So I'm dealing with that, and I'm just dealing with that at the moment, and the level I'm on, well, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know where everything is.
That's fine.
Really.
Let's. It's just kind of an indoctrined message that you feel that they have given you, correct?
What do you mean? I don't know what that means.
Well, basically, they've implanted it in you. Is that what you feel you've gone through?
No, I don't think that. But I do feel, and I have put it in my book, and it's in the last book, just to be sure it's remembered, that the possibility that I have been weaponized is real. I have to consider that. I have looked out into a telescope. I have seen something incredible. I've taken photos, or put it in a book and distributed it. Now everybody else is going to look at it. I have to consider that I am weaponized, that, this is just another...
What do you mean weaponized?
Well, I'm going to, through the books, I'm going to take you from the moment you enter the firmament, and I'm going to take you all the way back to origin. Okay, so I'm going to take you all the way. But what if this is a lie? This is what I keep asking myself. Is this true? Is this a lie? Because I found that broken pixel in space as well, and I'm like, I'm still not unsure if this is even legitimate. So, I do consider that, I could be weaponized. I could be saying that there are, creatures out there and they do this and this and this when, it might not be true. It might be another ploy to confuse but I just don't think so because, I had the experience of going to this dark place and, you think to yourself, okay, you just had this weird experience about going to the, what could be considered the darkest place of all things. And then you get a visitation from particularly important people on the planet hovering over your house and meeting you in this strange airplane. So there might be something more to it than just finding these things out there. There might be a little bit more to it for these people to get out of bed and come over here and meet me. Yeah.
Well, let's continue with the audience questions here. Joe is asking, when the Dark Brothers enter our reality, can we defeat them? Do they bleed? Can we kill them?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really great question. I like that question a lot. There is a structure or structures found in India. They're called stepwells. I don't know if you've seen them. It may be a good idea to Google them. What they are these dug-out, squared steps in geometrical shape that extend stairs downward into not much. What you'll find is that these stepwells will be not far from a water source of some sort. These Dark Brothers, what they do is because they're from a dark line or angled universe, they can only actually see a straight line. They can't really see a curve or a wave. They can't see it. So, when they come through into our dimension, they will appear. They will just appear. But they will appear on a dark line. You and I probably couldn't see it, but they can see it as clear as a pathway. And that's what it is for them. It's a pathway. And what I think these stepwells were for, because they're not too sure what they're for over there, but that would be correct if they were to appear in that particular location. There will be a doorway, and it's triangle shape, and it will come out of a rock or a cave. These are dimensional doorways the Dark Brothers can use. When they come out, they'll follow a straight line or an angled line, and you'll find that those angled lines will lead straight to those stepwells. And I would suggest that those stepwells would have been filled with water, because the Dark Dimensional Brothers can't tolerate our white water. They can't tolerate it. They have their own version of water. It's black, of course. So when they do appear, and they will appear, they will follow these dark lines because they can't go anywhere else. They must stay on the line. You'll find that those lines will lead straight to those stepwells. And I would suggest that those ancient Indians knew that. And also that in that particular zone or particular area, location, their caves, the caves that they would have had there, or the cave walls or rock walls, will have the portal for the dimensional Dark Brothers that they would have used. So that would have been a long time ago, but yes, that is how you would do it. You would do it with water, and you would have to drown them as they appear and follow through on the straight line, on the angles. So.
Interesting. Interesting. Trip has a question for you. He's saying, what are these rules that you talk about? How many are there?
Which rules? Because there's a few. He's talking about the one rule that that was broken. That was broken by the Masonry. Masonry broke the rules, and so they won't be receiving anonymity anymore. And actually, the next book, the supplemental that's coming out next is going to be dealing with that particular rule break, and you're going to see the Grand Master Mason. I'm going to show him to you, because he had been, we couldn't see him before because the rule was broken. The rule was still intact, but when they broke the rule, the anonymity was gone, and a disclosure is imminent, and that's the end of it. And that's why I have to write these books. It's part of this disclosure process. It became part of the disclosure process when they broke the rule. So, but there are other rules as well. that's just for those people. That's why the book's been written. But there are other rules in the space environment, and I'm going to be releasing these book rules out in the next book, which is the one coming out in a couple of days. And these are basic cosmic citizen rules. These are, basic stuff that you need to know, because we're all going to be exposed to it very, very soon, and you need to know how to drive, how to navigate, how to read the road rules, how to stay in this, when to go into the space tunnels and which way to turn, because you don't know how to read the star maps properly and all sorts of stuff. So, the difference in the space environment, you get to a certain place in the space and there's this extraordinary long row of orange markers. They're like bright orange stars, red ones, orange. And what it is a boundary line, so a marker. You go past that marker and you're on your own. You're in open space. So if you come back over those orange markers, you're in civilized space. And there's parts of open space that is marked again, and that's, you just don't go there. It's marked with a bright red marker, and you just don't go in there. Nobody's ever returned from there. So, that there's rules for certain things, and there's things you've got to know, like the markers. They're really important for you not to go traveling, dilly-dally. You've really got to sort of, the open space environment has more predators in it.
Right.
There's laser defense systems and stuff for the civilized space environment. Once you get into this open space, you're on your own. There are pockets of civilizations that live out in open space, and they've got ports and everything that you can go there and trade, and and there's money to be made as such.
Right. You know what? Right there, I'm going to get you to hold on, because we're going to continue with audience questions. We got Michelle Nancarrow for another 30 minutes here on the Mighty SOR. Great show tonight. We're having a lot of fun with Marie here. We're going to do it all again for the next 30 minutes right after the break.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
know what's really going on in your world? You have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social media freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social media freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com. Your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow night on the show, we talk about Robert Bigelow. What's his deal with UFOs? Danny Silva will join us starting at 9:06 Pacific, midnight, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We welcome back everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network, Deep Talk Radio, Revolution Radio, and remember, you can check out all of our archives for free because we like having them free for you at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. The only thing I ask for in return is hit that subscribe button. Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Arachibutyrophobia. I totally butchered that again. Arachibutyrophobia is your password. I know I butchered that again, but the clam sets the password each and every night, right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot. You can also shop at our store. We would appreciate that. You can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. For the final time tonight, we introduce Marie Nancarrow. She has written a couple of really interesting books, The Quanta, as well as Reincarnation. This is something you're definitely going to want to check out. You can get Reincarnation on Amazon right now as we speak. Marie, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio all the way from New Zealand. Really appreciate you taking the time for our audience tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're glad you're having a good time. I want to get to some audience questions here because, like I said, we like to continue with them. Dale is asking, and we never know if it's Dale or Dale's mustache because he's got one of them power mustaches. But he is asking, how do we use copper as a weapon against penny clowns hunters?
Okay, well, you can't use copper against penny clowns, but you can use copper against a dark dimensional or negative energy being. And what happens is they have a stinging weapon. It's some sort of I found these creatures I've called them wiki worms. I didn't know what else to call them. They are part of a Sashman's cluster. And the cluster is a biological insect creatures that live upon the Sashman himself. So they are interwoven in such a way. Now, the wiki worm is an ethereal being, and it has a great big smile and straight teeth, perfectly straight. It has oval-shaped eyes, and it looks like a cartoon. It absolutely looks like a cartoon. And those creatures are dastardly. They are called smiling wiki worms, but they actually sting with a negative D-charge. And I don't know how to explain it because I'm no scientist, but they decharge you in such a way, they sting you. And the closest I can get to explaining how it works with these negative creatures is those potatoes that you use as batteries for little school projects. You know, you plug a clock or something, a tiny light bulb into a potato, you complete a circuit and the light glows. Meanwhile, that potato is getting all of its energy taken from it as such. Well, you're the potato, and it doesn't happen in a short way. It happens instantly. So if you come across a wiki worm and it goes to sting you, you would drop straight away. You just drop lifeless to the floor because it has absorbed all your life force. And the way to deal with these energy beings, these decharging sort of negative energy beings, is the copper. Now, when you wear copper bracelets or put copper pillars around your home, if you want to protect your perimeter, when they come through, they cannot pass through the circuit. Okay, they cannot try to release a decharging charge, whatever, or walk through that circuit. They can't do it. It gives them an electric shock of their own. It's like they stuck their finger in the socket point. So that's how both the lead and the copper are used in the same way, but for different energy beings. So there's two types. Remember, there's a negative energy being and then there's a dark energy being. So the two different semi-precious metals will help stave those from you if you can create a perimeter. If you wear the copper on your wrists or around your neck, you've got, you must have at least 2 points where you can create that circuit. So if you do come across these stinging things, and they do try to, and they will, all they have to do is touch you and you're gone. So the moment they do that, you'll destroy them because you have repelled their charge using these semi-precious metals.
Interesting. Dale also wants to know if you could describe the cat people a little bit more.
Yeah, the cat people story. Okay, so I'm walking along. I see this big, giant spacecraft with a fat ass on it. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, how is this ship going to get off the ground with an ass like that? And I heard this voice, because we're talking telepathically, I'm not using my mouth, say to me, are you sure you're ready for this? And I go, yeah. And I turn around and I look at the person I'm talking to, and it's this giant cat man. And I'm 3 or 4 feet off the ground hovering. And he's, 10 foot tall or something like this. And he's half human, half cat person. And the cat guy has the closest I can say is a peach, that fur off a peach, for facial skin, it's a very soft fur for their skin. They do look like lionish. They do have those kind of liony eyes, and they do have that lion mouth, but they stand upright. They have tails, and they do this very bizarre thing. They have no sense of humour. They're completely serious all the time. But they have this bizarre thing in their, when I was with them in their ship, and it's a vase, a strange-looking vase, which is tapered, smaller at the bottom and a little bit wider rimmed at the top, and it's full of marbles or round, marbly type circles.
Sure.
Spheres. Yeah. And anyway, you try and tell them a joke, and they just don't laugh. You try and make them laugh, they won't laugh. They're so serious all the time. You knock that jar over, and they are in fits of hysteria. I have no idea why they do it, but they laugh their asses off. The marbles go everywhere, and they're rolling around laughing. It's bizarre. So they're quite bizarre.
Sounds like it.
Very serious, very serious people, but also very, very strange as well.
All right, let's get to Renee in New Zealand here. And her question is, have you actually done all of this knowledge work that you have through astral travel or accepted an offer to travel with them? Or have you done both?
Both. Or both.
What's that like?
Frightening. It's frightening. It's not. I don't think I'm built for it, but it's frightening for me. They had to take me to a place where most humans would recoil, from the sight of what was seen. And I had to endure that. And that was where I was going on the spaceship. I had to be prepared for a long time before they'd take me there, because it would break my mind. So I had to do a lot of work. And when I mean work, I mean like it's very hard to explain. It's very metaphysical. I'm always in a partial meditation. Always in a partial. I'm always quietly at the back there. I'm always meditating. Things like that. Just eating. I had to eat certain foods. I had to drink water. I had to do certain things. For a very long time. But anyway, they took me to this place, and that was the final task I had to perform before I could write the books. Was that last task, and then they had to take something out of the back of my neck and stuff like this. So there was a bit of work prior to releasing these books.
Mm-hmm. Catherine wants to know if you've seen anything physically in our dimension.
Yeah. Yep.
What's that like for you?
Well, I had the 5 come into the house. Things like that. Like I've gone outside and I've looked up and they've signaled to me and stuff like this, then boost it because someone's chasing them, stuff like that. They're the resistance. They'll be the resistance, which I'm a part of in the other life. So it's of great, I had to do everything properly, otherwise, it wouldn't work out for me.
Now, what do you mean by this in the other life?
Well, we are visiting here. We know exactly who we are when we arrive back there. It takes us we are a bit groggy when we make it to the firmament, but we know exactly who we are. We know exactly where we've come from. Everything. There's nothing we don't know once we're there. But when we come to this place, the light entrapment makes us forget. And it's actually the light entrapment itself that wipes our minds of our memory. So and I think I got my memory back of my other life when I received that taint in the form because of the dark part of that taint. But no, I've forgotten the question.
Well, let's move on here because I want to try and squeeze in as much as possible here, and we only got you for about 9 more minutes here. Renee down in New Zealand is following up with a question basically saying then, so when you were looking at creatures like Bigfoot or Dogman, do you believe then that they are an interdimensional species?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There are some Sasquatch that live here permanently, but they are most definitely alien, alienism. There are some that live here permanently, but they're hunters, They're hunters. That's what they do. I'm not too sure about Sasquatch as such, but I am absolutely positive that the Sashmen are confused with the Sasquatch. The Sashmen can be identified easily as such because they'll exhibit a marker. It'll be in the form of a sash across their chest. It can be in a V-shaped form, an X-shaped form. It can be a handprint. It can be a little motif on the front. But they will have some sort of faction marking. But the difference between a Sashman and a Clusterman is the Sashman wears the tools they use. So the Sashman will wear a watch, and they'll carry a little bag. And on the bag, you'll see a depiction of two opponents fighting with somebody in the middle, stopping them. We've got these bags in museums around the world. They're very, very old. Well, the Sashmen carry those bags, and they also carry the corresponding watch, which is attuned to the bag. And both of those items are tools that they use with what we call alien quantum computers. And they can use these bags to entrap a human being, inside the bag, because the bag is not relative to you're not relative to size with the bag once you're in there, due to the dimension of the way it's made. If they want to use the quantum computer, what they'll have to do is find there'll be one, and it's always near a riverbed or a underground river or aqueduct or something like this. It's always got water near it. Will have markings on it, and the Sashman will put he's got two keys. They are the crook and fail, which the Egyptian king would have held onto them. They look like that, and he will put them on these rocks which are near the water. And he will use his device, his bag, and the two rocks, and he'll complete a circuit. Now, what will happen is when he turns these rocks on, these are just, to us, they're just stones in the river, but to the Sashman, it's a dimensional computer. And so what we'll do, he'll turn it on, and you'll see a swirl kick in the water, and it's just a little swirl. And what's happening is they're diverting the magnetism from the river into the rock, turning that rock on, and you'll get a dimensional portal device. So that's pretty much the difference between the Sashman and the Clusterman. So the Sashman will use the AQC, the alien quantum computer devices. He's also hunting for warriors that will fight in the pits because they have a cultural system of fighting like gladiators, which is, they get paid for that. So that will work out. And the Clustermen they don't use the watches. They only use their particular devices, and they range. You get Clustermen that hold lanterns that'll entrap you in a lantern. Cups, little tiny cups, the cup men. I just nickname them what they're holding. It's easier. And then they've got a bizarre triangle. Now I've seen humanoids use this triangle, so it's some sort of a weaponry device or device of dimensional weapon of some sort. So I've seen humanoids use the triangle device in the space environment. But yeah, that's the difference between the two hunters. They're really the hunters. They hunt. That's what they do. That's all they do. They hunt. They hunt for fighters. They hunt for slaves. They hunt for yeah. So
we only got about 4 minutes left with you tonight, and I want to get into reincarnation because I think it's important to do that. In regards to it, how does the Quanta and reincarnation tie in together?
Well, that's a good question. The Quanta is it's a hard question because you've really got to see the reincarnation, but you see the soul separation. Okay, so we've got 3 bodies. You see the first body, then you see the soul body, and then you've got the speck. So the speck comes out of the first body, and then you've got this other light body. So you've got the soul body and then this light body. The light body goes through a process of quinning. And what happens is they will try to separate the 2 bodies, like egg from white, yolk from whites in the egg, and they will unwind this black tongue. And there's a creature I've called him the Quinner because that was I was told that was what it was called, quinning. And he'll wind this black tongue around the light body, and then he will spin that light body so rapidly that the stuff comes out of the body. And that stuff is this, looks like a white cloud or a white mist of something. It's in a bubbly looking, it's like together. That stuff's called quin. And the Etherians eat quin. That's what they consume. If the quinner doesn't do his job properly and he doesn't separate the light correctly from the quin, if the Etherian eats the quin, the Etherian could actually die, be destroyed because of the light. So the quinner has to extract the quin correctly. Otherwise, it poisons the Etherians. That's part of the reincarnation process. When it comes to Quanta, there's not much Quanta as such in the reincarnation zones. So the Quanta is way back in the firmament zone where you can really see it because of the dynamic of the firmament. You can actually see the Quanta moving a little bit more than elsewhere.
I see. We only got about a minute and a half left with you tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time. We've obviously run out of time for what we needed to get into tonight, but we can always bring you back on the weekend show, one of the two, in order to try and get more information, because I think we left a lot on the table tonight. And I apologize to the audience members who have questions out there that we did not get to, but we will try again. We'll definitely try again. Do me a favor, Marie, tell our audience once again where they can find your books.
Okay, so I want everybody to start with book 1 because book 1 is so important. It tells you how to use the fringe reality correctly. So go to smashwords.com and search up my name or search up Quanta Disclosure Guidebook, and you'll get that first book. And from there, if you want to learn more, then you can go to Amazon where the big books are. Okay, so the first book is the intro, and it's really important because it does have some remarkable information in there that I don't repeat elsewhere. And then go for the reincarnation book, book 2 at Amazon.com. Just type in my name and Quanta Reincarnation, and it'll pop up. And I'm going to release this next book in the next couple of days, and then you're going to see the real good stuff coming out. So
that's wonderful.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic. I think you guys are going to love it. We've got imagery of, all the great Indian gods, the Egyptians and the Chinese and all the ancients, so I think you guys are really going to love it. And there's a few surprises in there too. So
perfect. Perfect. Marie, I got to say goodnight to you because we got to go to break here, but thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio. Coming up next, Ola Phillips and the SOR Newswire. We'll be back.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
We've rounded third. We are heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. So glad you're kicking off your week with us. We get to the news, the weird, the wacky, the WTF with Mr. Olaf Phillips. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire, where we look for the stories that the mainstream may not cover, a little bit different, a little bit odd. And to bring them to you is Mr. Olaf Phillips from Paranoia Magazine, the man, the myth, and the Team Stump legend. Olaf, how you doing, man?
Greetings and salutations.
What's happening in Northern California these days?
Not much. It's been rainy.
Well, that's good.
Good.
You need it.
Yeah, kind of need it.
Yeah, you need about another 4 feet of rain.
I don't know about 4 feet. That's a little excessive, but we probably should get 4 feet. Yeah.
I'll tell you, we are supposed to get some snow here. I don't know when, but this week. My weather guru was telling me that we got to get some snow here because last year at this time we were probably sitting at that 3 to 4 foot of snow mark, and that includes some melting in between. But we need more. Like we're at about 15, 16 inches of snow this year. But looking at the forecast, we're supposed to get snow on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, which means that the lakes will be back frozen and I can get out there and go for a skate because I haven't done that this year yet, and I'm getting a little upset with that.
Getting a little edgy?
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'll be honest with you. As weird as this sounds, where I grew up, the lakes never froze because it was always too warm. So I moved up here. You know, I lived my first 42 years of life down in that area. And move up here, I'd never skated outside before. Never skated on a lake. So it's just something that I absolutely adore, being out there in the wind, just a hockey stick, a puck, my little guy. And, you know, there's nothing better than me, a big old brute of a man, you know, taking my kid into a snowbank and, you know, driving him in there, you know. And then when he starts crying, get up. It's hockey, son. They're all crying in hockey. Get to it. Get up. You know,
some whacked out Canadian thing.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Then you go to Tim Hortons, get yourself something warm to warm up, and you're all good. Continue on your day. That's the way it is.
All right.
So
okay.
That's what I'm going to do. So, anyways, what do you got for us in the news, man?
We go to the beach and freeze our asses off. That's what we do.
All right. Isn't that nice?
Wait. Okay. Everybody thinks, well, you live in California. You have these beautiful sandy beaches. Everybody's walking around in bikinis and shorts and there's tropicalness. Dude, I'm from the northern part. We do have sand beaches, yes, like Santa Cruz, yes. but it's cold. The water's cold, the wind is cold, the air is cold, and most of the beaches are rocks. They're pebbles.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. We got to get to the news, brother.
All right.
What do you got for us?
All right. Commuters shed trousers for an annual no pants subway ride.
Heard this.
Hundreds of commuters, in 24 cities around the world, dropped their trousers for the annual global no pants subway ride, which I know is huge in San Francisco. The no pants subway ride, which began in 2002 as a stunt by prank collective Improv Everywhere, was held Sunday in cities including London, Copenhagen, Buenos Aires, Chicago, San Francisco, and Berlin. The flagship event in New York saw dozens of people braving 32-degree weather to ride the subway in their underwear. There is no agenda for the event apart from a desire to make other people laugh and smile, Improv Everywhere said on their website. Improv Everywhere founder Charlie Todd refers to the event as a celebration of silliness. So, yes, no pants.
I don't know if I would do that.
Today.
Well, I mean, many
why
women
not?
do it. Yeah, but many women do it every day because they wear skirts and dresses. All right?
No pants day. They do it without anything. Just
I don't
underwear.
know.
I've seen
Are
it.
you sure?
It's funny.
I've never seen it.
It's funny as hell. Yeah. It's funny.
Why?
We have Bart. Yeah.
Why do we do this?
It's absurd. It's absurd.
I do not have the gall to do that. I do not have the gall to do that. Oh. I will, I will do it on a radio show, though. Not going to lie. Nice warm summertime. I'm sitting here in SOR headquarters and just me, a T-shirt and boxers. That's it. It's all good. Never mind the image that just popped into your minds. I realize it's not pretty, but that's what happens.
No, it's pretty horrifying, actually.
I understand that. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Or you want more?
Sure.
Florida man threatens to kill neighbor with kindness, the name of his machete. A Florida man is behind bars after allegedly threatening to kill his neighbor with kindness. It's not what you'd think. Kindness is what the 30-year-old suspect, Brian Stewart, calls his machete, according to police. Stewart of Milton was arrested on Thursday for an incident that allegedly happened Wednesday evening. It began when two of Stewart's neighbors went to the suspect's house concerned about yelling and banging that had come from the house all day, according to the Pensacola News-Journal. Stewart came out of the house with his arm raised, holding the machete, which had the word kindness written on it, probably in a Sharpie. One of the neighbors stepped in front of the other to block the blade and suffered a half-inch cut to his left hand. The Santa Rosa Sheriff's Department was called, and deputies arrived and arrested Stewart. They said that Stewart's breath smelled of alcohol, and he had been stunned with a taser before he was put inside the patrol car, according to Orlando TV station WOFL. Police also said that he had hobbled after kicking the inside of the car and banging his head, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. On Thursday, Stewart was booked into Santa Rosa jail on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill and aggravated battery. He remains behind bars in lieu of $10,000 bail. And I have to tell you, the picture of him, his mugshot, is not pretty.
Oh, no, I'm looking at his mugshot right now, courtesy of Desert Clam at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. I don't know. It looks like he took a little bit of a thump in there when he got tackled or something.
Yeah, or he's banging his head on the inside of the car.
Could very well have been. Could very well have been. Never know. That is a good mullet, though. Very good mullet.
That's a phenomenal mullet.
Yeah,
good
for him.
Okay,
like
in other news, tanker spills a river of chocolate on I-40. This will be a sweet cleanup, the Arizona Department of Public Safety said in a tweet from the scene of the accident. The morning commute for some Arizona drivers was a little stickier than normal Monday as an accident involving a tanker truck caused a river of chocolate to flow over the westbound lanes of I-40 near Flagstaff. The tanker, which was carrying some 3,500 gallons of liquid chocolate, I'm not going to convert that to liters. You're out of luck. when it was involved in an unspecified accident causing the vehicle to roll over and dump its sweet cargo on the highway. The Arizona Department of Public Safety said in a tweet. The accident, which occurred before 9 a.m., blocking all westbound lanes, according to Arizona Department of Transportation. The lanes were reopened at 1 p.m. It is not the first accident in recent months involving liquid chocolate. A storage tank at a chocolate factory in Germany overflowed. We covered that. And about 1 ton of the country's iconic sweet flowed through the factory's gates into the road, solidifying into a 30 square foot chocolate pancake, according to the Rural Fire Brigade, which participated in the cleanup.
Interesting.
More chocolate shenanigans.
I don't know how
More
these chocolate trucks, how these, all this trouble with chocolate is spilling on all over. I don't get it.
I don't know. Here's one that'll be near and dear to your heart. Baseball stadium's big screen hosts giant Mario Kart game. A news helicopter in sky over Kansas City, Missouri, captured video of an unusual game being played at the Kauffman Stadium, a game of Mario Kart. The KCTV news chopper was passing near the home of the Kansas City Royals when the crew noticed the stadium's giant videos board was being put to an interesting use. A closer look revealed the massive screen was being used to play a jumbo-sized game of Mario Kart, the racing game starring the Nintendo's famous plumber. The baseball team's nonprofit foundation, Royals Charities, said the Crown Vision screen is being used for video game parties this year as part of the charities auction. So, Mario Kart on the Jumbotron.
That sounds so much fun. Good for the baseball team for doing that. I think that's a great thing to do in the off season. I really do. I mean, what a way to raise some money for children's charities. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love this one for last.
Yeah, go ahead. I need it. No, you go right ahead.
Okay.
Man. Finish her off strong.
Florida man, woman. So you have a Florida man and a Florida woman charged with having sex in the middle of the road.
What?
Between October 9th and 10th, 1968, during the recordings... Hold on. Okay, sorry. Between October 9th and 10th, 1968, during the recording sessions that would ultimately create the Beatles' seminal self-titled LP, known as the White Album, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr snuck into a Studio One at Abbey Road and laid down tracks for a song that McCartney had written after seeing a pair of monkeys having sex in the middle of an Indian thruway. A 1-minute, 42-second jam called Why Don't We Do It in the Road. Elsewhere on planet Earth, those same days, a 7-year-old boy named Thomas Edward Lewis and a 5-year-old girl named Penny Marie Snoots were no doubt engaged in whatever innocent, precocious activities elementary school-age children were engaged in during the 60s. Riding bicycles, playing with friends, watching the Tigers beat the Cardinals in the World Series on a crude television the size of a GE gas oven. Perhaps they were even listening to the Beatles on the radio, though it's doubtful they were able to pick out the nuances of the Lennon-McCartney lyrics at such a tender age. While it's impossible to know the thoughts inside another person's head, it seemed all too certain that neither McCartney, Starr, Lewis, nor Snoots knew 51 years later their destinies would collide in the town of Seminole, Florida, when according to police, Snoots and Lewis would be caught taking McCartney words to gospel and doing it in the road. More specifically, on the hood of a car, according to police documents obtained by the Smoking Gun, in regards to the January 8th arrest of Lewis, now 58, and Snoots, now 56, but that allegedly was only after Snoots performed what Bill Clinton would not describe as sexual relations upon Lewis while standing in the middle of the road.
Wow,
however, contrary to Paul's 60s-era free love words, someone would be watching them, an unnamed witness who told police he saw both the oral copulation and what Dennis Reynolds might describe as full penetration from the road while pulling into his driveway. According to a statement of the Gulfport Police Department officer Selena Ramos, While she did not catch them in flagrante delicto, she arrived before they would be caught in flagrante cigarette afterwards. When she rolled up on the duo in the suburban cul-de-sac, she noticed Lewis lifting his pants and buttoning them up, presumably tucking his own cul-de-sac back in the process. Snoots and Lewis were taken in on a misdemeanor charge of lewd and lascivious behavior and booked into Pinellas County Jail before being released on bond.
Gee whiz.
Penny, Tommy, this one's for you. And then it has a link to this one.
Oh, my goodness. Well, at least they had a good time.
I got to come out of that strong. I had to come out strong.
Well, you did that. You did that, buddy. That is just insane, man. I don't know who does that. That is way beyond my pay scale. Way beyond my pay scale, man.
Sorry,
way
I forgot how it started out. I was like, wait a minute, am I reading the right thing? I read it before, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That is how it starts.
Oh my goodness, we got the Thought of the Dave music playing right now. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we put a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages during the day, and then we read your responses on the air. Why? Well, we just love the audience participation around here. The more of you, the better. So today's Thought of the Dave is as followed. What's something strange that's happened in your life? Nice, simple, courteous. Let's get to it, shall we? Apparently in Florida, it's having relations on the top of a car at an intersection. But nonetheless, I digress. In a cul-de-sac, yes. Terrible.
I came out strong.
You sure did. Andrea, paranormally speaking, too much. Almost getting killed in a car accident right before a demonic investigation. That may take the cake for me, she says. Let's see. Rob, Garden Gnomes. Come on, Rob. I know where you're trying to go with that. I am one with the gnomes now. I am so one with the gnomes. You just can't drop that stuff anymore. It's all good now. The gnomes and I, we're like buddies, best friends. Karen, I'd be here all day. All my normal is paranormal. Oh, that's just bragging. Total bragging. Trixie, last night for the first time I saw someone attempting to plow their car into multiple lanes of oncoming traffic. First they cut me off, then they jumped to the other lanes in opposite direction, then they sped up, they saw headlights coming, and then they charged all the lanes. Every car dodged out of the way, and they came back in front of me on the street. I grabbed the car info and called the cops. I'd never seen anything like that happen before. I gotta tell you, man, when I was 18 years old, my buddy and I went out of town to go visit another buddy because he had a girlfriend who lived out of town. We were about 18 years old, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're driving back on the Trans-Canada Highway, Highway 1 in Canada here. And I'm asleep in the passenger side. And all of a sudden, my buddy says, holy bleep. And I wake up, and here we are on the freeway in the middle of the night, and there is headlights coming towards us. Now, the opposite lanes were on the other side. And so my buddy quickly started slowing down. Like we're doing about 60 miles an hour, so we're doing 100 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit up here. And dude, we got the hell out of the way, and we moved over onto the shoulder. Like both of our hearts at 18 years old, we had our lives flash in front of our eyes. And we found out reading the paper the next day that car was driven by a drunk driver who literally killed 2 people behind us. That was a close one. That was a close one. Wouldn't want to do that again. No.
I saw a lady in a rainstorm over in Oakland. I saw a lady in a big old Cadillac, and she was driving too fast. She hydroplaned into the retaining wall. Mm-hmm. And then she bounced off the retaining wall, but I guess not hard enough to engage the airbags. And she kind of shook her head, and then she pulled right back into traffic and kept going.
Well, that's nice. Don't want to ruin her destination. Yeah, don't want to ruin her destination or anything like that.
I had a huge black triangle fly over my head when I was on the freeway at like less than 1,000 feet.
Oh, that would have been beautiful. Totally. Let's continue on here.
Yeah,
Neil.
but I didn't stop.
I see the I would have stopped for a black triangle. I see the invisible dimension. Now I was blind and now I see. 13 years ago, I was blind. Tina lived in a demonic house. Sandra, stepping outside a bar in Vancouver for fresh air and having someone drop from above right in front of you. Luckily, a balustrade blocked the view. Not paranormal, but strange. Not what you would expect to see. Charles, car broke down between Gary, Indiana and Chicago. A guy that just got out of jail pulled behind us, and a guy just got out of the seminary school pulled in front of us. Needless to say, I took a ride with the guy from the seminary. Final word goes to Joe. My name is Joe. I have cow-tipped a minotaur, sucker-punched an angel, and eaten pancakes with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And that's a good place to end it right there. Where can we find Paranoia Magazine?
ParanoiaMagazine.com, Paranoia Mag on Twitter, Paranoia Mags on Instagram, and Paranoia Magazine on Facebook.
Beautiful. And you can read all your news for the SOR Newswire that Captain Shirk puts together at spacedoutradio.com. Thank you to Marie Nancarrow for coming on the show tonight, talking about the Quanta. What an interesting topic. I'm going to have to check that one out again. Also, big thank you to all of you for listening in. That was a fun show. We got tomorrow night Danny Silva joining us. We are talking about who is Robert Bigelow. We'll get into it tomorrow night, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Really appreciate all of you tuning in tonight, hanging out with us, doing this each and every night, because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.